Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 127 of the Civil Gore podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. And two exciting things. One, the votes are in, and the new intro is staying.
Okay, did we get any votes, Brian?
I haven't
two.
Looked. Okay. It got two, but they were both love it. So that was going to be, so it was going to stay. And how could we not? We were going to keep it anyway, probably.
Yeah.
I can't imagine us not doing that. That intro was too awesome. I mean, I know I'm a little biased, but I think it was awesome. And second of all, we're finally getting to do the movie that we pushed off now. Like, I don't think there's been a movie that we've pushed off more. Well, maybe Carrie was the exception because that got delayed almost a full year because, due to other reasons. But this one was, of course, Drag Me to Hell. We're going to discuss tonight. One of my favorites of all time, and it was we were supposed to do it. What was it? We were supposed to do it right at the end of last year, and then we miscalculated, I guess.
Yeah,
the week into December or something.
I can't remember exactly what caused us to push it off. And then, of course, last week we had the 2020 preview, and that was running so long. It was already a 2-hour episode. We had to push that back again. So it wasn't because of the movie by any means. Because, like Brian said, this is one of our favorites. So I'm glad we finally get to touch on it.
It'll be really, really, really fun to discuss. Going on, and we'll get to it much faster because I guess we should let people know a little bit of the way we're doing it. I know we touched base on it last week, but what we decided to do is just for this, we're going to just start our new disc memberment format, like we said, like the monthly one. So we're just gonna kind of like really basically kind of gloss over January altogether and just start it at the end of the month. With the last week of January, we'll do the full February complement of titles. So we apologize for the fans that love the dismemberment. It will be there. It's just probably, I mean, it's not much in January anyway.
Yeah, it's not that big. You're not missing that much. And February has, I think right now we're up to 25 titles.
Yeah, including some major ones like that. The one that I pre-ordered, the My Bloody Valentine. I ordered it direct from Shout Factory this time because there were there's a thing, if you order there's only 2,000 made of the limited deluxe series, which the disc I believe is the same exact disc, except it comes with some extras in there, like a poster, some extra, like I think maybe it's like some lobby cards or something. I can't remember what that meant. I just know it was enough to sucker me in right away to order it from there. And just as a note, I don't know if you knew this, Tim. I didn't know. This is the first time I did it. When I went to go check out, they have something called Amazon Pay, where you basically link your Amazon account and pay for it that way. So I didn't have to put in PayPal or I didn't have to go grab out my credit card. It linked directly to my Amazon account, and I used the card that I have associated with that.
That's interesting. I did not know about that.
Yeah, so maybe they're playing nice now. Remember we thought they might have been like feuding.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Yep, so this week, in lieu of a dismemberment, we do have a special feature that is we only do once a year, and that is when we consult the oracles.
Yes.
To find out what is going to take place in the coming year in the world of horror. It is, of course, our GHOSTRADAMUS section. I'm very much looking forward to this, Brian. Now, should we go back and look at our 2019 predictions?
Do you have those handy? I forgot. I don't know, because I was so busy with the scrolls that were sent this year that I forgot to look back.
Well, I always keep a copy of those tattered scrolls. We keep them in a large jar.
Okay.
Because you got to have the theming.
I think it's hiding behind our soapbox, right? There's somewhere.
Yeah.
We now have props for this show, if you haven't noticed.
All right, now I couldn't find mine. So Brian, we're just going to go through yours from last year.
Yours are missing.
Mine are missing. Maybe it's because I don't want you guys to see how wrong I was. But all right, so I'm going to go over Brian. So I don't know if should I read the whole thing or should I just kind of.
I don't think you need to go through the whole. You could just get the gist of it. What the prediction was, yeah.
The first prediction Brian made last year was that the dispute over Friday the 13th would be gone, and we would see a new Friday the 13th movie appearing.
Yeah, or announced, right? Did I say
or announced? Announced, yeah, announced. And sadly, we did not see that.
No.
I could almost make that prediction again this year.
I kind of there. It looks like there might be something similar already. I have under my docket there about it, but a little bit different this time.
Now, this one, Brian, you have to forgive him for not going too far out on a limb, but he was correct on this one. Brian predicted. I'm sorry, Ghostradamus.
Yes,
predicted. We almost gave away our.
It was just the scrolls that were sent to me.
Yes,
that's what it was.
Right. Ghostradamus predicted that the success of the Blumhouse Halloween would have a sequel announcement. And we not only got one sequel announcement, we got two.
Yeah, see, even like the greatest of Ghostradamuses, I don't think would predict that. Like, you may have said, oh yeah, there's two coming, but not in the same year like that, like where they pronounced. And remember that weird rumor that came out where they were going to be released in the same month when it first got released? That's how confusing it was.
Yeah. The third Ghostradamus quatrain from last year was that Chucky would be returning to film, and it would be straight to VOD. But we missed that one too. We did get a Chucky TV series.
We did, and now that's getting all. Now it was right after we kind of were discussing it on our preview. Remember, now all the news is coming out that it's like starting production now. And
now let me ask you this, Brian. Though, was this before we knew about the Child's Play reboot?
I think we knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I think by that point we knew. I think we knew back actually when we did the Summer Slaycation that a reboot was coming. What I had predicted that it was going to be so. I think basically that it was so maligned. I think that so like people were not excited for it. That I think I predicted it was going to go straight to video on demand, which it did not. It did have a small theatrical release, not much, but.
All right, and then finally, Ghostradamus predicted the huge success of Jordan Peele's Us, and I think he was spot on with that one. That was correct.
Yeah, that one did well. Although, which we might discuss on a soapbox perhaps later, I don't think the Academy agreed.
That's right. We got to talk about the Academy Awards because we're movie fans. We got to talk a little bit about the Oscars, not just in the horror.
Yeah, well, that's coming.
Genre.
That'll be coming. Yeah, that's coming up. I think coming up in the first chop too. And but there may be a soapbox or two. I don't know. We'll see.
We like our soap. We're feisty this year, Brian.
We are. We might have to make this like a full on set. We might need a catchy name for the soapbox segment because we brought it out now. This will be 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Tim and I are, as we're a year older, we're getting surlier, and and stuff. I don't know.
We're getting cranky in our old age, apparently.
Yeah, we are. I tell you.
All right. So, Brian, do you have the scrolls handy? I got them right here.
I do. I have my scrolls. I guess we'll alternate like we do usually.
Yeah, let's do that. So I will let you lead off with the first Ghostradamus prediction for 2020.
Okay. And this one says, this coming year is important for our favorite hockey mask killer. While Sean has appealed last year's verdict, once again the decision will favor Vic Miller. Of course, that's referring to the appeal that was placed, and supposedly in June we will find out, I guess, whether the ruling will be. I think once again it will be. I think, unfortunately, Sean Cunningham. I think based on that thing, because I think it would set a bad precedent if Vic Miller's decision got reversed. I think a lot of, because, and not to go into this because we'll spend hours on it. The logistics. The best thing to do is just follow Larry Zerner. He explains it all the time. But basically, it's he has the rights. He should be able to claim the rights after what was it, 35 years or something. And so it'd be said again. I don't know. I don't know which side I'm on, in all honesty. I'm just saying, these things, they're when you put a rule into effect and then it gets taken to court and then it's reversed. I don't know. I think it sets a bad precedent because then why make them in the first place if they're only going to get reversed later on? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll have to do maybe like a bonus episode on just the whole thing on it. Because really,
explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if I'm understanding it 100%. All I know is I just want another damn Friday the 13th movie. I don't care who wins, really, right now. I mean.
Yeah, that's me too. So I will unfurl my scroll, and this is the one that I have. Their board game left us horrified, and theme park lands will soon appear. With new success from the man invisible, more classic monsters will soon appear.
Oh, I like that. I like that prediction. And I don't think it's that. I mean, I think it's kind of a. It's like half because it was, I think it would have been bolder last year because of, with the failure of the Mummy. So to predict that, we did not expect, we thought that whole thing was dead. So now that Invisible Man is coming back and it looks to be really good. I agree. And we know what Tim is hoping for more than anything, of course.
Yes, I'm hoping for my Creature from the Black Lagoon remake. Now I know The Shape of Water may have torpedoed that dream because I think Guillermo del Toro was originally attached to that Creature remake, and then what we ended up really getting was The Shape of Water, which is not really a horror movie. So I'm hoping for a true to God Creature from the Black Lagoon reboot. That would be really, really cool.
Right, but if you think about it, right? So they've done The Mummy, and they'll do having Invisible Man. Now there's a Dracula series out on Netflix. So, and the one, and then you kind of had the Creature. So I would have to say, I mean, this isn't this is kind of an off the cuff thing, but what would be next? Would there be an actual, I mean, there's been so many Frankensteins, but not maybe like a Frankenstein may come next.
And Wolfman, you've kind of had, not super recently, but you did have the Benicio del Toro
which
version.
I happen to love that
I
one.
love that movie. If you go back and watch that movie, I will defend that movie. I've defended it online before because it was made in the style of the old Universal films, and it was just brought in with modern sensibilities, but these period piece architecture and all that, it was super cool. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I don't think you have to modernize these creatures to make a really good movie. I will defend that movie to my dying day. That was I thought that was a great remake.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, granted now they have the issue if they're really trying to turn all the monsters into a universe, you have a kind of a modern day Mummy, a modern day Invisible Man. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what you do now to do that. Well, I guess you could still maybe kind of do a little cheap, like maybe have it take place where the architecture is still that style, maybe. And it's still kind of, or maybe it takes place in a town where they still have those values and you can kind of fake it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I understand. Mainstream audiences aren't going to go for that drama, the old fashioned look and drama. But I would have been perfectly fine for Universal to make a whole series of just modern Universal horror monster movies that just look like the old movies are just modern. I would have loved that. I thought that was cool. But
so now, do you think they're gonna do some kind of modern? It'd be great if they did a modern version of an Abbott and Costello, but like use those characters. What is it, Wilbur and Chick? Right? Is that
Wilbur and Chick? Yeah.
But so wouldn't it be great if they used like a modern of it? Like I could see like Jack Black.
Yeah.
As Costello, and one of them, and the other one, who would be Abbott? Let's see.
I'm drawing a blank on I know a lot of funny ladies, but I'm drawing a blank on the funny guys right now.
I don't know. We'll have to get back to you on that. Maybe if anyone else thinks of one, let us know. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Because I think that would be great, or at least even like a cameo in one of the movies. Just like there's a role inspired by those two. That'd be kind of fun.
That was.
I mean, they made it into Horrified.
Yeah, they did. Well, they should. They made it onto my Frankenstein Blu-ray about 10 times.
That's true, and every other one since, right?
Somebody else made a crack about that on one of the horror movie groups I was on Facebook, and it cracked me up because other people were thinking the same exact thing. So, and Brian, one other thing about Horrified. Sorry. So this is funny. We play a game called Gloomhaven, which is a role-playing game. It's like a dungeon crawl. It's in a fantasy world, and you're fighting monsters going through a dungeon. And we, one of our group he had ordered some miniatures that he was going to use to portray some of his summoned characters. One of them was like a plant that shoots thorns, and one of them was like a big stone golem or whatever. But he didn't have the miniatures yet, so he used his Horrified figures. So here we are playing this dungeon crawl. We got Frankenstein on the board. We got Dracula on the board. We got Mummy. And I was like, wouldn't it be so cool to have this dungeon crawl where you're like going through the Great Pyramid and you're having to fight your way through like bats and spiders and stuff to get to the end boss, which is the Mummy. And we were thinking of all these powers they could have and how it would play
cool.
using this game. It was really, really neat discussion, thinking like that would be so cool to have like a Universal Monsters game where you're working together to fight the monsters in a different way than Horrified. Obviously, you're doing it in Horrified too, but more of a dungeon crawl kind of way. That would be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I still have not played. It's funny, the Invisible Man yet in Horrified. I've encountered every other monster in some form except the Invisible Man because we didn't get him the game we did.
Yeah, and he's considered the hardest.
He is, I know. And so the last time we played, actually over the weekend, we went to a friend's house, and we played. But since Julie and I had played, they had never played. We picked the standard. We did Creature and Dracula, and they loved the game. They got so into it because there was one point where my friend Lynn, she had to roll 3 die, and it was like getting dicey in the end of the game in a spot, and she rolled 3 blanks, and like we all like cheered. It got really into. So it was exciting because at one point, I mean, we had a very low terror meter, but it was the matter of we were getting low on the cards.
Yeah, that's how you usually die.
Yeah. So and we were getting really close, but then in the last 5 moves, we got really creative and got to do it because I think he had I had the mayor, the one that does the 5 moves but no like special ability. We had I think Lynn had the explorer, Julie had the archaeologist, as Becca Scott would say, and my friend Steve had Pip. As they named him, which was that kid, the courier. But so yeah, and so it is a fun game. And you know what I noticed in a rule that I wonder now? I'm thinking back. I'm telling you, that game that you, Ken, and I played, where I felt we were like 1 move short, like from winning, is still haunting to me to this day. And I'm sorry, folks. We'll get back to the scrolls in a second. But so I looked at a rule, and it said once you have pulled the last monster phase card, that you could take 1 additional turn with the next player.
Yeah, you don't lose until that player has to draw a card.
Did we do that? I can't remember if
we
did
that. Yeah, we did that.
Oh, okay. So we still lost. Okay, because I was like, if that was what lost us.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so what's our next quatrain?
Okay. The next one is, and I think this one is, I don't know, some may say this is kind of obvious, but I still think this is a good one. It says, 30 years in the making. Orlando's the place yet again for a scare. This year's annual event will feature the return of one most excellent pair.
I hope so. The timing's right, though, with the movie coming out.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, okay, Universal Halloween Horror Nights was legendary for their Bill and Ted show. They removed it. They replaced it with the Academy of Villains is a good show. I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, but from what I understand, a lot of the fans of the event really, really missed Bill and Ted. And we're coming up on the 30th anniversary, and if all goes well, Tim and I will be there.
Yes.
We're making our triumphant return. And I think based on our wives surprised us both and want to do it in style again and like stay on property and do it up. So hopefully that will come to fruition and we'll have a good fun time again, because that was one of my favorite trips ever. That was so much fun.
Well, I think as much fun as we had is why they're so willing to go back. I mean, we had a blast. That was
this was great. And I think especially the kids will come again they'll probably I bet you Anna will be like gung ho and want to go through houses. Like I bet you.
Yeah, they're going to be a year old. Yeah, they're going to be a year older, so they're going to want to go.
Yeah, so they're not. And then we took them to that little thing in Wilmington, and they were like right in the face of all those horror things. They'll be fine. Yeah. I think you've created your kids now to be prepared. They are ready.
I have molded them into the horror fans that I wanted them to be.
Yes,
so my job is done.
They are on perfect pace to be the next host, the future of Civil Gore. When Tim and I are too old to pick up the microphone, but So Bill and Ted, of course, the movie's coming back. So what better for the 30th anniversary to have them appear in some capacity, whether or not it's a show. Maybe it's a house. Imagine they do a Bill and Ted house kind of based off of the all the shows, because you never know what it could be, or it could just be a bonus. Like maybe they still have Academy of Villains and Bill and Ted. Who knows?
I just think they're going to go all out this year.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
I am so excited, and usually, actually, What's crazy is usually within the next month or so, you start getting leaks of stuff already, like and predictions. So, because remember, this event starts earlier. So this event starts beginning of September this year. And I think our slated time we're going to try and go is like mid-September. So, I think like we may start within the next 2 months, may even already get the first house announced. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either. I mean, this is almost becoming a year-round. I mean, if you consider the speculation and the leaks and the release, it almost takes up a full year now.
Yeah.
Of excitement and anticipation. All right, so my next one now, Brian. I will say, GHOSTRADAMUS went a little bit out on a limb this year with my scroll. These are not based on any firsthand knowledge at all. These are kind of out on a limb. They're somewhat educated, but not in a way that in some of our past picks have been a little safe. So we're going to see how it goes. We'll see what you think. All right, here it is. Eggers, Astor, Peele, and Moore have changed the genre from pulp to art. The coming year brings a new director whose brilliant film doth do its part.
So I'm taking that translates to a horror director which we have not heard from yet. Will come up and make a big name for themselves.
Yes, I'm predicting, based on this quatrain, that what GHOSTRADAMUS is referring to is, yes, we will see a new director that comes out with some blockbuster horror film that we did not see coming, sort of like Hereditary did, and The Witch before that, and Get Out after that. So yeah, we'll see. That's kind of out of the limb.
Yeah, no, I think what I'm going to do is I think after we're done with the show, I'm going to like comb through our preview of movies and see if I can like try and hand pick one, see who it might be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move to the next one. This one I think, looking at this one, this looks like this one will be a fun one, I think, for us. It says, while Tim is look at this, they're calling us out now. This GHOSTRADAMUS like knows who its
Of course he knows who
now.
we are. He can see into the future. He knew this podcast was coming.
That's true. He knew like 4 years before us, probably.
Yeah.
But we just didn't know about it because he didn't send it to us. But it says, while Tim is the expert and Brian the newbie neither own a horror-themed mansion, with a ton of success, next year we'll see an official horrified board game expansion.
Ooh.
That would be the best thing ever because, like, I mean, I have become... Tim is getting me so hooked on games. I think I mentioned this last week. I mean, like, I'm like signing up for board game things, and I'm watching tons of the game videos, and it's like I can't stop. And I go comb the stores and Target. I always will go to the board game section now, and Barnes and Noble, and I've been playing Horrified and spreading the words to everyone who will listen, basically. So. That, to me, and Horrified is, I think, a big key. I mean, Tim's enthusiasm got me intrigued, I think. Yeah. But when I played Horrified with you and Ken that day, I've got a true feel of a good cooperative horror game. And now I'm hooked on just games in general, like of that style. So, and then I just showed Tim right before we got on. I noticed there was I got an ad. Because Facebook, because they listen to everything, apparently. They sent me an ad for the Long Island Gaming Expo. It's the first ever one, which is actually at the Cradle of Aviation, which is where they have that beer festival that we've gone to a couple times. It's really cool because it's right in the middle of basically an aviation museum.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and this looks like it's going to have guests, it's going to have exhibitors, it's going to have tables set up for games. So I may have to go check this out, just for the show and all.
And Brian, you saw the Dark Tower.
Oh, right. Of
course,
I meant to put that.
Yeah, Return to Dark Tower game has hit Kickstarter. It's pricey as we thought it would be. I think it's $125 for the base game and $225 for the base game plus all the expansions and a miniature set. So, yeah, I'm still on the fence about this one. Not about the game because it's going to hit retail eventually. I'll probably pick it up at some point.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt we're getting the game.
Yeah. Just whether I want to go through all that Kickstarter stuff, I don't know yet. So we'll see.
And I still got to buy that, Friends of Waterville game or whatever that one. Looks cool.
Lords of Waterdeep. Yeah.
Oh, I'm never going to get that one right. I think that's just going to be my Achilles heel. I'm never going to get that.
Well, Speaking of the expansion for Horrified, though, Ravensburger does have a precedent for doing expansions because they made the Disney Villainous game, which you've probably seen at Target.
Yeah, that looks
And
cool, actually.
that one came out, I believe, has 2 expansions now. So they do have precedent for doing expansions for successful games. So I'm really hoping we see one for Horrified.
Yeah, I mean, because I know there's unofficial ones. I did notice Cone found a whole message board full of them where they make them pretty good. And I think it'd be kind of fun to have, like, I mean, there's still Hunchback we can do. There's
Phantom of the
Opera.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would there be? Well, there's some of those lesser known Universal monsters, right?
Yeah, there's plenty like in their secondary catalog, and then you've got some like that people have done fan versions of that aren't necessarily Universal, but they are monsters. I don't know if they would have the licenses to do these because I don't know who actually, but like the Blob and the Fly and.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. Oh, the Fly would be fun.
Yeah, but I mean,
especially imagine you got Goldblum Fly and like like Vincent Price Fly. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
There would be I was telling Tim, which other thing that I said would be great if there was a like it could create characters of your own, like to be like victims and like not victim, the villagers, heroes. Sorry, heroes. And I said I would come up with I wanted to make one for Julie. Then she would be called the Fixer, and like I said she'd have 3 moves only, but she'd be able to pick up from 2 adjacent spaces, not just one. Like because she'd be so crafty, she'd be smart. It would almost simulate her being prepared by being able to grab things from 2 spots away. And then me, I'd probably have like 10 moves, but I'd be bumbling and I'd just like trip and fall or something and
lose 2 items.
I'd lose items. Yeah, that's it. I'd lose an item from an adjacent space. That would be me.
So my third one, the King of Horror hath great success, yet his greatest work did fail to please. By end of year, fans have new hope when they glimpse a new Dark Tower tease. So by
this, the movie or the book,
I'm taking it to mean that because the Dark Tower movie was such a kind of a flop, that we're going to see some other form. We're going to see the Dark Tower rise in some other form. So maybe a mini series, something. We're going to see that resurrected.
Like he doesn't want to like have that bad taste in people's mouths. I get it. Yeah,
we'll see. We'll
That'd
see.
Be good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? With we've said it before. With the way streaming is the future. I'm telling you, it's he's got plenty of platforms to just pop that on there. That'll gladly take it.
Yep.
So, okay, my final scroll here. This is an interesting one. Okay, this says, in a time of reboot, and this might be, by the way, I'll just preface it. I think this might be the one that he went most out on the limb on. I think it's kind of specific. So,
okay,
it says, in the time of reboots and sequels, there is one to fill the fans' chasm. While rumors have surfaced, this is a year when they'll announce the return of Phantasm.
Ooh, okay. I like this one.
You know, because I think, there's been rumblings that they still want to continue it in some way. I mean, of course, you're not going to get Angus Scrimm and the Tall Man. But you could get someone else that, I mean, I'd hate to, replace Angus Scrimm. But, with technology nowadays, the way they do things, not that I know it's a debate whether they want to computer generate people.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, they could find someone that may be able to play him, or it's just a different kind of take on Phantasm altogether of the mythology. But I have a feeling there's going to be some kind of Phantasm project this year.
All right.
Announced.
Well, this is another King-related quatrain.
Oh.
His son, that is.
Wow, okay.
Lock and Key shall prove a hit. The Prince of Horror can do no wrong. Hill's comic work shall prove a treasure trove. Expect new adaptations before too long.
I agree.
So I'm thinking that Ghostradamus predicts that we will see Joe Hill's comics spun off into new media, maybe new series, new Netflix ventures. Who knows? We'll see. I'm predicting Lock and Key shall be a hit.
I agree. I'm excited for that.
All right. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed our Ghostradamus. We'll check back again next year and see how right we were.
Yeah.
Or wrong, probably.
Yes. I don't know. I think we made a couple. There were a couple of safe ones we received this year. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, back to our. I guess we should probably announce it finally. our first chop. Okay, sorry. It's so hard now that we don't have a dismemberment. I keep forgetting to say first chop. Which is
I
bad.
know the sound effect will be all.
I know
cutting us off. And that'll be great.
So let's talk Oscars, because you do have to get on your soapbox, Brian. But I always try to make an effort to watch all of the Best Picture nominees. This year is particularly difficult because a lot of the nominees are still in the theaters, for one. Which is kind of tough for me to get to the theater to see these. And a lot of them came out late, so I just don't have the opportunity. Although I did see 3 of them. I watched Joker over the weekend, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. I'm not going to give you spoilers.
I think Julie and I are going to watch that this weekend. So.
Yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. I can understand completely why there's people that don't like it. I understand completely. It is a very divisive film. It's very political. But I just thought Joaquin Phoenix's performance just blew me away. I thought I was just enthralled. It's one of those movies that you just lose yourself in. That's kind of how I was with Joker. And I love DC. I love Batman. I've always been a Batman fan. So this was just kind of like mesmerizing to me. The other one I saw was Marriage Story, which was Kylo Ren and Black Widow. As I said,
you can't mix universes. I mean, come on. Of course, that's going to end badly.
I texted Brian. I was like, "This is what happens when Kylo Ren and Black Widow get married. It doesn't end well." So yeah, Marriage Story is Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. This one's on Netflix, so you can see this one anytime. And it's just it's one of those New York indie films, that about a relationship. And that's pretty much what it is. But it's anchored by just phenomenal performances by everybody. Not only Adam Driver, who got nominated, Scarlett Johansson, who got nominated. You've got a terrific bit part by Alan Alda, who is a freaking national treasure. He is just fantastic in this movie. And then you know
there's a diner, by the way, on Long Island? I don't know if this is still the case, but I had a relative that they worked at this diner, and supposedly it's the California Diner. It's out. I think it's technically the town is considered Holbrook, Long Island, where I used to live. I've been to the diner many times. It's great. Supposedly every weekend, but in the summer when he goes out towards the Hamptons, he would stop there around 2:00 on a Friday, have a meal before he heads out, and then goes. Huh. So I was like, I could say, I'll find out if that's still occurring, and maybe you could meet Alan Alda someday.
Nice. And then Laura Dern got nominated as well. She's terrific in this movie. So
for Vice Admiral Holdo?
Yeah, so a lot of Star Wars. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe no spoilers. I won't say anything. But anyway, it's not my typical cup of tea. I don't typically watch marriage dramas, but I wanted to watch this one because of the Best Picture, and I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it, and it has some really good performances. So if you like strong acting, I would say definitely check it out. And then the last one I have halfway through, because it's taken me days to get through it, is the
Irishman. Isn't
the
it?
Irishman. Let me tell you, Brian, I have a mini soapbox here, because the de-aging CGI they use in this movie is so distracting. It's literally affecting my enjoyment of the movie. I cannot concentrate on the movie because every time, and this is not like, they de-aged Robert De Niro for a couple scenes. It's the entire movie. Entire movie. They de-aged Al Pacino. They de-aged Joe Pesci. They de-aged everybody, and it looks horrible. It looks so fake. I don't have words. I don't know how this got nominated for Best Picture, just because the CGI is so bad. And I don't. Yeah, it's very disappointing, because I am a huge Martin Scorsese fan. I'm a huge fan of mafia movies. I'm a huge fan of all these actors that are in this. Like, if this was this is a Tim movie, up and down. And I've always thought Martin Scorsese can do no wrong in my eyes. But man, I think going with that de-aging stuff for this was a huge misstep. It is not ready for prime time at all. So I'm disappointed.
I do want to see it though, but
yeah, like I said, the story's good. I'm enjoying that, but man, I am so disappointed. This is like my disappointment of the year right now.
Well, I mean, I still think Al Pacino's greatest role. I mean, and you can fight me on it, was Jack and Jill. The Adam Sandler. No, I'm just kidding. But it's been on a lot lately. Although he is quite hilarious.
He is pretty good at it. He might be the only good part of that
movie. Popcorn. Just I don't know. He cracks me up, and he goes, "You want to turn my name into some coffee drink?" I mean, it's just the fact that his all into that type of a movie is to me is astounding.
Well, now, don't get me wrong. If you like Al Pacino, he has some fantastic lines in The Irishman. He did some. Great stuff. So I've totally enjoyed his performance, even when he looked like a cartoon character because he's been CGI de-aged. But that's neither here nor there. It just bugs me. But so Brian, please pull up your soapbox and tell us why you were angry.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same thing I have every year. It's like there's, you know what? There's just movies that you just know are going to be featured in the Oscars. Yeah, sure. Every once in a while you get a surprise. Like I'm glad a movie like The Joker got nominated and all that stuff. That's good because it's, it's a different take on a comic book movie, but still it's based on a comic book character. So, I'm glad to see that kind of thing get represented. But and I know horror has been represented sparingly in the past, but to me, it's still not represented enough. And the fact that Lupita Nyong'o was not nominated for her dual role, sorry if that's spoiling, but you should have seen it by now, in Us. I mean, come on. That is who was it? I forgot it was some actor. I can't remember who did it, and I apologize. They're probably not listening to us anyway. But anyway, one of the big horror actresses on Twitter said, she goes, here, Lupita basically gave you a lesson in acting, and you didn't even acknowledge her for it. And I forgot who said that, but that was like so perfectly said. How good was she in that movie? I mean, and the fact that you can't nominate her for that, why? Because it was horror? What? I mean, I don't get it. And and also the whole thing with, I know this always seems to be the case. I mean, this goes back to I still remember Billy Crystal making a joke about it that Prince of Tides got nominated for Best Picture, but not Best Director, and for Barbra Streisand. And so why was Greta Gerwig not nominated for Little Women? I mean, I haven't seen it, but from what the people that did see it said, it was amazing. And it gets nominated for Best Picture, but why not? Why does Greta Gerwig get snubbed for Best Director? It's the same thing. It seems like it's the same thing every year. And from what I understand, granted, these are not all my own feelings with stuff, because just stuff I was reading too, but a lot of people, because I haven't seen it yet, so I don't feel like I speak to it. But from what I understand, Awkwafina was really good.
Yeah.
In that movie. And, the Golden Globes nominated her. And another one, to me, Daniel Craig for Knives Out was awesome. And Knives Out was awesome. So why, I know he got, I think, Best Screenplay, Rian Johnson, but I don't know. I feel like these, it's like the Oscars are just not for me, It's like, I don't feel like it represents the full complement of movies I like to see.
Well, for me, this year had more movies that I either saw or wanted to see than typical years. Like The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 1917, Joker, Parasite. All those are ones I want to see.
That's true. Yeah, at least that was represented there.
So I thought the Best Picture nominees were really good. And I'm the type that, in terms of the Academy Awards, I like good competitions. I hate when there's this Best Actor and it's Best Actress and it's Meryl Streep and 4 people that have no prayer of winning. I hate that. This year, I think, is some of the most competitive categories that I've seen in a long time, which that's good. I think it's going to be an exciting Academy Awards. And I totally agree. There definitely were some snubs, and I wish women and minorities had been a little more represented in some of these categories. But at the same time, I also think it's going to be probably a fairly good Oscars compared to recent years. So I'm looking forward to them, and I'm hoping I'm able to see more of these Best Picture nominees before the telecast. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it's and also I'm kind of glad Florence Pugh got nominated, but I would have nominated her for Midsommar because to me that was she was the most watchable part of that movie.
Yeah.
I know how I felt about that, but it's just there's, I don't know. It just seems like I wish it was more encompassing, the Oscars sometimes, and I don't know.
Well, here's what I also have a problem with is and I'm not trying to disparage these this animated feature film.
Come on up here, Tim. There's plenty of room.
Okay,
on
I'm going to come up here.
But this is a soapbox for 2. I made it that because there's 2 hosts on this show, so I made sure we got the wide soapbox.
Animated feature film, there's some years where I feel like they just shouldn't even have it as a category. But like, I mean, okay, Toy Story 4. I thought Toy Story 4 was not great at all.
That's what I've heard. Everyone I've said that, like, why is that get nominated?
I thought it was pretty terrible. And you got up here with Missing Link, which I think I heard of in the movie theater for 2 weeks. You got Klaus, which I heard was good on Netflix.
Yes, my brother was raving about that one. He said it's really good.
I Lost My Body, which I've never heard of. And then a How to Train Your Dragon movie? Really? That's nominated for an Oscar? I mean, I don't want to disparage it because I haven't seen it. It might be the best How to Train Your Dragon movie ever made, but it just I don't know. It's just weird to me. I understand why they have an animated feature film because there are some fantastic.
Well, yeah, because I think they would never allow an animated film to actually take.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I just scratch my head. Same thing with like these original songs. Like, I hate the original song category because 9 times out of 10, those songs are terrible. So, I don't know. This one, you got Toys. I don't know. Toy Story 4. I just hated Toy Story 4. I'm sorry.
I know. I got to see that still.
I'm
but
sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
if there's any Toy Story 4 fans, I thought they should have quit with 3. 3 wrapped things up.
3 was a perfect ending.
It was a perfect ending, and they just tacked on this crap movie. I hated it. I'm going to go right out there and say it. I hated Toy Story 4. I am standing on my soapbox. I hated Toy Story 4.
I think Tim got on a second soapbox.
I did. I put another soapbox on top of this soapbox. Okay. But anyway, so back to horror movies, I guess. So, 40 Years of Terror Project. I actually watched this one a couple weeks ago, Brian. I did not really talk about it last week because we had so much content. But I do have like 5 more films to do in my 40 Years of Terror Project. I will complete it, I promise. Woo-hoo. This is 1987, and I went with A Return to Salem's Lot.
Is this the one with Rob Lowe in it?
Dun, dun, dun. No, this does not have Rob Lowe in it.
Well, which is the one with him in it? Was that the Salem's Lot TV series, right? Or the
that
TV?
May have been. Yeah, this was not the TV series. This is the one directed by none other than Larry Cohen.
Oh, now, okay, right. That's it. Now I remember.
And starring the great Michael Moriarty, who was the...
Yes, okay. I got it confused. Yeah, okay.
And this is... Michael Moriarty is without a doubt the best thing in this entire movie. Somehow he
is a lot when he's in movies. When he's in movies, he kind of takes over.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Oh, it was the miniseries. It was the second miniseries, Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
With had Rob Lowe, Andre Braugher, and Donald Sutherland's ass in it. So.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, A Return to Salem's Lot, you should have never returned. This is a terrible mess of a movie. It is so all over the place. It stars
I think I own it on DVD, which is what's scary somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's in my DVD collection.
You've got Ricky Addison Reed plays this really obnoxious kid who's constantly cussing, just a really bad kid. Michael Moriarty plays his dad. They go back to Salem's Lot. There's a horrifically bad vampire makeup. It's not even makeup, it's a mask. It's horrendous. It literally looks like something you'd pull off like a Toys R Us shelf and throw on. It's bad.
Oh my god.
And I love Larry Cohen, don't get me wrong, but this one is not up there with his best movies. This is
Tara Reid's in this thing.
Oh my god. This thing is just completely train wreck city. It's not scary. And like I said, it's all over the place. It just jumps around. It makes no sense. I mean, I guess you could kind of watch it in a cult movie type of way, like watch it because it's so bad kind of way, and get some entertainment out of it. But man, this one was rough. This one was rough to get through. I kind of enjoyed it on some level because Michael Moriarty, and it's just so insane. Like it's ridiculous and so over the top that I almost kind of found myself enjoying it on some level. But man, oh god, it's don't compare it to Salem's Lot by any means. We've covered.
So did it have like Moriarty foo, Tara Reid foo?
Oh my! It had the worst foo ever. I don't know how to describe it. I would love to see Joe Bob's take on this movie. I actually would think that would be very
maybe we should find out if Darcy likes it, because if Darcy likes it, she'll be in our corner and like push for it.
Yeah,
she likes to really grind his gears when it comes to those kind of movies that he doesn't want to do. But we do know he loves Larry Cohen, so that's a possibility.
It's a possibility. I would need quite a few beers just to drink with Joe Bob to get through that one again.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to see him in the How Redneck Saved Hollywood tour. Julie and I are going to see him in March. So maybe if I can get an audience with him, I'll bring that up. I'll say, hey, remember us?
Yeah.
So by the way, Tim wants you to do Return to Salem's Lot.
Oh my God. Nice. I did watch, I told you about Joker. I did watch also 47 Meters Down Uncaged.
It wasn't bad, right?
It wasn't bad. It was exactly what I expected, which is not a bad thing. I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's exactly what you would expect. No more, no less. I was entertained. I will leave it at that.
Yep, and that's really all you could expect. I mean, that's what I expected going in. I expected, okay, there'll be a jump scare here, jump scare there, a lot of women in bikinis, and it'll be like a lot of ridiculous situations, narrow misses, but yet it entertained me. I thought the last half hour was crazy though. It was like non-stop stuff in that last half hour.
It was a great like Friday night date movie, popcorn movie. Like
I actually could see that being fun in the theater with a big group.
Oh, I think it would have been. I think it would have been much more.
That's a theater popcorn movie. Hey, popcorn, popcorn.
We're gonna have to do that from now on.
I think so. Whenever we says popcorn, we need to.
Anytime we see a movie,
popcorn.
Anytime we see a movie that's like just a popcorn movie, that'll be what it popcorn.
Yeah, that'll be the thing. Hey, popcorn. God.
Oh God.
That I tell you, that is one of my. I have to admit, I'm not ashamed to say that is one of my guilty pleasure movies. Is Jack and Jill.
Oh my God.
So
well, speaking of Adam Sandler, he's supposed to be really good in that Uncut Gems movie.
Yeah, and he got snubbed, even though he stole Lando Calrissian's outfit. But still,
All right.
Okay, well, Lando's got style. Why not?
Yeah, and Colt 45.
Yes.
So Brian, give us an update on the Civil Gore store, or the Civil store, as we might call it.
So we it's basically ready to go. It is like our products are ready. We're just going through some logistics on it, which I'm not going to bore you with the details. Just a couple little like basically housekeeping logistics on it to see whether we're gonna how we're gonna present it. But other than that, I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks we should be able to announce it fully. So you'll be able to buy Civil Gore swag. You'll be able to get a shirt, a mug, perhaps even a shower curtain if you so desire. So it should be, yes, there will be a Civil Gore shower curtain for purchase.
Oh my God, I'm getting that. I'm so getting that.
So I know. Can you imagine that? I told Julie, I said, by the way, we're gonna own this. We're gonna get a sample of this, and she just kind of looked at me like I was kidding, but I'm not kidding.
Oh my God, so. I'm gonna buy it and just put it up. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Yeah, I think we should just buy a bunch and just give it out as Christmas gifts for everybody. It's a Civil Gore shower curtain.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so I keep posting. I will as fast as I can get that out there for everyone, because I know, especially Cody, I know she has been waiting to get some Civil Gore swag. So
she probably
will have that.
She's probably not been waiting for a Civil Gore shower curtain.
No, probably not the shower curtain. That one, I think though we should take kind of like a internal bet on who will be the first to purchase a shower curtain, other than Tim and I.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They deserve a prize, whoever does that.
Yeah, and now I think we need a new shirt to add in there that goes, hey, popcorn, popcorn. Oh God, like we needed another thing. Okay.
Yeah. Or a shirt that has Donald Sutherland's ass in the front and Kurt Russell's sack in the back.
Oh my, well, shouldn't it be the other way around?
You're probably right.
What kind of strange amalgam are you talking about? Come on.
Well, in my mind,
I
was thinking sack in the back. You could play some kind of phrase, but you're right. You're perfectly.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's how we get out of the license issues. If we put the sack in the back and the ass in the front, no one will know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing, so it'll be perfectly themed to Civil Gore.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
all right. All right, so let's get to our main feature film. We were talking Drag Me to Hell from 2009, directed by the great Sam Raimi, starring Alison Lohman as Christine Brown, Justin Long as Clay Dayton, Lorna Raver as Mrs. Ganush, Dilip Rao as Ram Jas. I don't remember how these were pronounced in the movie, sorry.
Yeah, it is Ram. It's Ram.
David Paymer as Mr. Jax. Is that Adriana? Or Adirana?
I think it's Adirana.
Adirana Barraza as Sean Sandina. Chelsea Ross as Leonard Dalton. Reggie Lee as Stu Rubin. Molly Cheek as Trudy Dalton. And Bojana Novakovic as Elinka Ganush. A loan officer who evicts an old woman from her home finds herself the recipient of a supernatural curse. Desperate, she turns to a seer to try and save her soul, while evil forces work to push her to a breaking point. So, Brian, this was an interesting movie because I believe I did not get a chance to see this in the theater, and I had heard it was really good, and I just never got a chance to get around to it. So when I finally did watch it on video, it's one of those things. I know you've had these instances where you finally get around to watching some movie, and for whatever reason that week you're distracted, or your mind's not into it, or you're just not in the mood or something. I watched this movie, I remember enjoying it, and then I could not remember a thing about it. And I did not revisit it for years until this podcast. And I remembered enjoying it, but it was like one of those things, like, I know there was a gypsy thing. I know there was something about it. I remember it was really gross in parts, and that's really all I could remember. And I felt kind of bad because I knew it was one of your favorites, and I was like, I don't remember much about this movie. And then I rewatched it, and it was like, it all came flooding back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, why have I just sat on this movie for so many years? Because this thing is fantastic, especially with Ash vs. Evil Dead. I've been watching that. I mean, and all the this movie is basically Ash vs. Evil Dead. It's over the top.
I mean, this is as if you want, like, if you for some reason were trying to tell somebody about Sam Raimi and you can't get your hands on Evil Dead,
yeah, exactly.
Show them this movie because this is classic Raimi from the second it opens to the end scene. I mean, this has got everything you love about the Evil Dead and Ash and the character but just with a different cast in it, you know? And it's like, because it's got that like gross out gore that is so ridiculous that you end up laughing, although it's not a comedy, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, sure, it plays for laughs, but it's almost this like weird laughter you get. Like, it's like so gross that you have to laugh, or so ridiculous that you gotta laugh, but it's so good. And I mean, just for Alison Lohman, I swear to God, after this movie, I don't know how she did not get like 100 horror movies. I thought she was so good in this. She's like, I can't picture anyone else playing that role. I mean, her screams were hilarious in this. Her overall, like, her reactions to things, like, were just so classic. And, you know, it's like, she plays this, like, she's always, like, she's got those girl next door looks, you know, that cute and, you know, like, you could totally see why, like, you know, Justin Long falls for her. And, you know, and it's like, but she just mixes it with this, like, kind of like this badass quality she's got when she needs to. And it's just like, and some of these little bits in it, like, there's one line that always cracks me up that she does when, after the part that, like, the one part that, like, I can't bear to watch it because I'm an animal lover, is when, with the cat. And then she's at his parents' house and she goes, what do you mean had a cat? You have a cat, right? And she just paused and looks at him. She goes, well, how am I supposed to know? You know, cats, they come and go. And it just cracks me up because, like, you know, the audience knows what the hell just happened. And the way she just, like, pauses and then plays it off like that cracks me up. I don't know. I just think she's so good in this movie.
Yeah, and it's weird because she really hasn't done a lot of movies. She did Drag Me to Hell, and then she did a movie called Gamer right after that.
Yeah.
And then
she was in Big Fish too, she was great in.
Yeah, that was back before this in 2003. But
Yeah.
then, like, more recently, she was in the Vatican Tapes in 2015, Urge and Officer Down in 2016. She hasn't done anything since. So I don't know what the deal is, why she didn't get more roles, because she was fantastic in this. I mean, especially like in the horror genre, she would have been perfect because
yeah.
I don't know. So
well, I mean, I know weird. she does some kind of like acting like not because I based off, you look at her on social media, she does she's like does a class or something, or classes she helps an actor. So I don't know if she maybe
just kind of got out of
her own decision.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah. So
because definitely it's not because of a lack of talent, because she's awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the plot. So Alison Lohman plays Christine Brown, and she has this great bank job in LA, and she gets into one of those situations we've probably all been in at one time or the other, when we're trying to impress our boss, we're trying to get at that promotion or trying to get that raise, and we have to do something that may be kind of against our character. And she is put in this position. And I love the beginning of this movie because she's basically like, you feel so sympathetic towards her because everything's going wrong. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, she's just kind of in this position where everything just seems to not be going her way. And going for this promotion would be her big break. And you could see they really did a good job of setting up the reasoning for why she does what she does. Because
I was going to say that. I made that as a note. I didn't put it on here, but if you notice the first sequence you see of her, it sets her up in such like a subtle way. Like, you know, she walks in and you could see that she's, she looks at the bakery and she's like, oh, so you can kind of tell that she might have had at one point possibly a weight problem.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and just like just little things like that. It's like, I forgot that one. There was another one where she says something in the beginning, and it's like these little tidbits to show that like this could, like, she's really, she's practicing her voices in the car. Because she had the drawl and she's trying to get rid of it, and you could see she's trying really hard because she knows, like, okay, the more professional I sound, this will help my career, you know. And so she's like, she has so much drive to get her, because obviously you find out later she was from the farm, and, you know, and I guess, you know, she knows that her boyfriend's family is like this snooty group that would look down upon that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how she, like, you just get that like couple of scenes in the beginning really quick, but you kind of get what you need to get about her.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that she's competing for this job against a man. So as a woman, you know, she's
right.
He's got that extra struggle. So instantly you're very sympathetic towards her, which you kind of have to be in this movie, because the whole premise of the movie is that she's going to be cursed by this gypsy woman, and you have to have a reason not to say, yeah, you deserve that kind of thing. So I thought it was brilliant how they set her up to be a very sympathetic character at the start. So anyway, she turns down, an old gypsy woman comes in for an extension on her home loan, and Christine turns her down because she knows if she allows this loan through, it's basically going to kill that promotion opportunity, because this is a bank. This is a bad extension. I mean, from a business standpoint, this would be a bad move to grant this extension. And she basically has to show no compassion to this poor gypsy woman. And really, man, talk about gross. This gypsy woman is hacking and coughing, and it's just, it's horrible. I know you, Brian, because I know you're like a germaphobe like me.
Oh my God, I cringe at this movie. It's amazing I love it so much, with all like the cringe moments like that.
So she basically has to turn this gypsy woman down, and that's when the old woman curses her. It reminded me a lot of the old Stephen King. It was a movie as well, but
Thinner.
Thinner. Right? I remember the book. Same premise.
Don't mess with gypsies. That's what these movies tell you. Seriously.
The main character was in Thinner. The main character was cursed by a gypsy, and he just starts wasting away. But
he deserved it, though.
He deserved it.
Remember, he deserved it. He basically, I mean, even though he was, you know, he was wavering on whether or not to go through with kind of trying to bury the fact that he killed the woman in a car, but he still. It's still, he did it, and he never came forth and said, yeah, I did it, and tried to make amends. So they swept it under the rug, and he got rid of it, you know, and so of course he was going to get cursed. So you weren't as sympathetic to him, but for her, you are, because you know it's killing her to do this, but it's like, it's that one thing, it's like she's worked so hard to get to where she was, and it's like, now to be faced with this decision, like, do you make one decision that, you know, that, maybe it goes a little against your morals, but it's probably still the right decision? And then, you know, if you make this decision, that pretty much guarantees you what you've been working for the past God knows how many years. Yeah,
and it's an interesting thing because, you know, I think about it. I thought about it even in terms of my job. Like, there's certain things that, now, I hate to compare it to my job, because I've never been in a situation where I've ethically had to do something wrong.
Right.
I've never been in that particular position. But there's always things where you wish you could go and help somebody the extra mile, but it's literally beyond your means in terms of your job. Like you can't risk your job and your livelihood to do something that far out of the norm. And she's kind of in that position where, yes, the right thing to do would be to help this poor lady. But then again, if you give out loans to every person that walks off the street, you're doing your job not to grant that loan. So yeah, it was a tough choice. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you look in hindsight, like her boyfriend's probably well off. I'm sure if she said, "Listen, I can't give you the loan as a bank, but give me your number," and then she probably could have loaned her the money. Like I could see that being the only other way out of it. But then, of course, you don't have a movie. It's one that that's the kind of like, I always get stuck in too. So that's maybe why I relate to this movie so much, because I feel like so many times I've been in that thing where it's like, and I feel so guilty at the decision I made. It eats me up, and it's like I'm always like, what if they like this person, their whole life gets ruined because I made this decision, or something? Yeah. And like it's like, because I'm just someone that never wants to disappoint somebody. I always try and please everybody.
I'll give you a prime example. There was a situation where we had a person that worked there, and they did something that I was not comfortable with. They worked there as an intern, and they did something I was not comfortable with. In terms of, they did something that basically they were poking around where they shouldn't have been poking around, basically. And when you're in, when you're in IT and stuff, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful what you're doing, and you can't be this rogue and you're rebooting stuff and you're poking around and stuff that you shouldn't be, especially as an intern. And that really made me uncomfortable. And later on, after this guy had left, I got asked to be a reference for him. And my boss basically called me in there and said, "Hey, we're looking at this guy. What did you think?" And you're in a situation where I could have lied and said, "Oh, he's fantastic," and gotten this guy a job. Or I could tell the truth, which is what I always try to do, and say, "Hey, I mean, this is what I saw and what I didn't like." And I opted to go for the truth because I'm not going to lie. And he never got the job. Now, was it all because of me? No. There's other factors, but it is one of those situations where you're put in kind of a rock and a hard place. Do you tell the truth? Because the guy could have gotten a job and screwed something up majorly, Who knows?
And then imagine your whole company then gets under view or something, and then 5 people lose their job.
Or they come back and say, "Hey, why in the world did you recommend this guy?" He's
right, and now it's on you. And why did who is he to you that you risk your career on it?
Yeah. So I think we all get into those kind of dilemmas.
Yeah, I've been in that situation where I've had to recommend. If someone said, "Well, what do you think?" and it's like sometimes I feel like maybe I made the wrong decision. Sometimes I made the right one. I don't know. It's one of those things where you're never going to be perfect with it. It's just someone is going to. That's the thing with decisions. It's rarely ever going to be favorable for both sides at some point. I mean, it's just that's what it is.
Now we did get a little ahead of ourselves. So she isn't cursed immediately. The gypsy woman is not happy, but security basically hauls her out of there before she can do anything.
Well, that's I think what gets her angry is that she quote unquote she felt she was shamed.
Right,
it was bad enough that she was begging, but then she called security on her in front of and everyone's looking at this woman getting dragged out.
And so Christine gets attacked by this woman in the parking garage, which is a fantastic sequence. Because
what a sequence!
This is where the movie is just going to be insane and crazy.
Yeah,
because there's a fight that realistically would never happen between a young woman and an old woman. But
no, especially this woman's she's getting her teeth knocked out and whatever she stabbed her through her throat with, and she's still coming at her.
Yeah, if you've ever seen, again, a perfect example of the Evil Dead movies, or even Ash versus Evil Dead, if you want a more modern take on it. Anytime you see some of the Dead-ites coming at Ash and the violence and stuff, that is exactly what this scene was. It plays out exactly the same. This woman acts like a Dead-ite. So she rips a button off of the gypsy's coat, and that's what the gypsy curses, is this button. And basically curses her. And the rest of the movie is spent Christine trying to remove this curse because it is basically a demon haunting that she's going to be under as long as this curse is in place.
Lomia.
Yeah. So the rest of the movie is her trying to figure out how to remove this curse. And I just loved the over the top gore and the over top violence that the rest of this movie contains, as she's tormented by this demon.
Yeah, and Alison Lohman does as one of the it's a jump to one of the trivias. She did almost all her own stunts, and I was telling this to Julie as I was watching it again, and I was just like, she needs to get tons of credit for this because she did so much heavy lifting in this movie. I mean, you could tell that it is her in a lot of these sequences.
Yeah.
I mean, there is stuff getting poured down her throat. I mean, some of it's CGI, you can tell, but some of it is like practical effects where she's getting maggots dumped on her face. She's swimming in graves. I mean, getting thrown around the room. I mean, it's like, you name it. I mean, it's like, and she's all over the place.
And you're still getting callbacks to this promotion that she's going after. But now she's suffering under these hallucinations, and she's trying to cover all this stuff up in front of her boss because she's still trying to get this promotion.
The best. Yeah, like the fact that she's like, and then she's got to train this guy that's she's competing with, and she just freaks out on him, and then just that blood pours out, and the best is it goes right into David Paymer's mouth, and the first thing he says is, "Did it get in my mouth?" I'm like,
you're like, you swallowed a gallon of it.
I know, it like literally went right in your open mouth. But I mean, like that sequence hilarious. She just runs out, she goes, "Oh my god," and just runs out. And I looked on here in the trivia, it said Ellen Page, who, by the way, is a fantastic actress, and I will take nothing away from her. I think she's amazing. I can't picture this movie with her in it when you see Alison Lohman's performance.
Yeah, and I think Ellen Page to me, has a little more of that tough vibe, and it may be because of movies I've seen her in, like Hard Candy and other movies she's been in. But I think Alison Lohman just had a little bit more of that innocent, sympathetic side to her that maybe Ellen Page didn't have. And again, like that could be hindsight. In 2009, I don't know if I knew who Ellen Page was, so I might not have cared. But looking back on it now, you're right. I can't see anybody but Alison Lohman in that role.
Just because she's so good in it, so good. She has just a perfect mix of like the comedy and like just some of the scenes. Like it seems like almost like I don't even know if it was intended or she just took it on her own to make it that way. Because it just seems so like her in it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Because she doesn't have that much of a body of work where you could actually say that. But just some of the sequences, like that whole dinner sequence, like to me, like from when they get to that house, like on it, like to me, that's just like such a great acted scene that she does. Where she's like totally flipping out with all these like things she's imagining and like just while other things are going on, and it's I don't know, it's just great because she goes from like being fine to jokey to being freaked out, and like just I don't know, it's really good.
I don't want to talk too much about the ending of the movie because I think this movie has some great twists and turns in it. If you haven't seen it, I would hate to spoil it because it does has a really good climax to it. So I won't go too far into that, but I will go into some of the trivia here because there's some really good stuff. Sam Raimi always drops Easter eggs in his movies.
Yes.
And this one is no exception. First, of course, the yellow Delta 88, which is the same car used in all the Evil Dead films.
Yeah.
That one's in there. We talked.
Yeah, that's it's Sylvie Ganush's car.
Yeah. I'm not going to go through every single one of these.
Yeah. No, there's a lot,
but I'm kind of going through the Evil Dead references because there's a lot of them in here.
Oh my god!
There's a point where Christine is on the way to the cemetery and says, "I'm going to get some," which is a reference to Ash's line, "Come get some" in the Evil Dead series. So that's pretty cool. There's a sequence where Clay Dalton mentions traveling to his parents' cabin that has trees and is private, which is a direct reference to, of course, the famous cabin in The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
We talked about Ellen Page there. Sam Raimi's friend, Bruce Campbell, of course, who appeared in some fashion in every other film that Raimi has directed, turned down a role because he was busy with his TV show Burn Notice.
I was trying to think like where he would be in this movie, and I could see two spots. Either one, he could be like some kind of bank customer that she encounters quickly, or the guy at the pawn shop. I could see him being funny in that. Like that would be the two spots where he would make a cameo.
This one is a kind of a deep cut here. So in Christine's house is a picture of a boat that resembles Anchor Bay's corporate logo. The company released many special editions of the Evil Dead trilogy by Sam Raimi, and in fact, I actually still have the one of the Evil Dead 2 tin, the Anchor Bay tins.
Oh, I got that one. Yeah.
Those were great.
I have so many versions of Evil Dead. I have the one, the Book of the Dead edition, where it's like a rubber book and it opens up to. I have all the Army of Darkness cuts and stuff. It's crazy. I have so much Sam Raimi. It's insane.
This one is actually PG-13. The unrated cut. Now, the one you get on DVD is, of course, the unrated cut. It's got a lot more.
Yeah, that's
blood.
the one I watched.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, same here. But this was actually in theaters, was a PG-13 cut, which is amazing because granted, I know they trimmed some blood for the PG-13 version, but still, for this movie to get a PG-13 was pretty impressive, I thought.
Yeah, and I saw it in the theater. I remember being shocked that it was PG-13, actually.
Yeah.
When I was done with it, so.
Yeah, so... that's some of the trivia there. But if you guys have not seen Drag Me to Hell, definitely go check it out. If you're an Evil Dead fan, you should have seen this already.
Yeah, yeah, if you've not seen it, and this is just one of those movies that is just absolutely fun to watch. Like every time I watch it, I love it, and it's like this is one I could just watch at any moment. It's that good. So I suggested this to Kim and Ket. I had told them, I said, I'd love to see them.
That's a fantastic choice.
Do this movie.
Yeah.
I think it was Ketrin said that she thinks that Kim has it on the docket to do. She might have been on her list because I'm like, when I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my god, I could totally picture them doing this as one of their movies because there's so many like
squeamish funny scenes like they
like just to hear their reaction to it, I think it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, that would be
so.
Fantastic. Well, speaking of brilliant, Brian, I think you had one of the most brilliant beer pairings we've had in a while.
And this comes after my awesome Anime Apocalypse one,
you're on a roll. So tell us about the beer pairing because I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, so this one it's called Drag Me to Hells. And it's by Wolverine State Brewing Company. It's 6.7 ABV, and it's basically it's a Hell's Bach. And so here's the description. It says, "We release our Drag Me to Hell's Bach or Pale Bach at the beginning of May every year. Even though the ABV sits at 6.7%, this Hell's Bach is a very refreshing lager beer. Perfect for the warmer weather of spring leading into summer. Brewed to celebrate the onset of warmer months and give us liquid sustenance as we begin to work our way out of our gardens and fields. We brew this Hellsbach with 100% German malt and hops, and we want to get the most authentic profile we can." I say we because that's them saying it, not me. So this brew has a sweet nose of malt with a smidge of spicy hop aroma. The flavor in Drag Me to Hells is a beautiful representation of German malts that create a lager with smooth hints of toast and bread flavors that leave you coming back for more. And it also says, pours great with popcorn. Hey, popcorn. No, it doesn't. I just had to add that. I wanted to say it one more time.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, that's a good write up there for their beer. I like that.
They gave a good one there.
I'm not a typical fan of that type of beer. I mean, I'll drink any kind of beer, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm not like, that's not the one I like my go-to, but that one does sound very, very good.
No, I would definitely give that a shot if I encountered it.
All right, so you guys have had like 5 months to work on this triple threat from last week. If you haven't gotten this one by now, you're in trouble. So we will go back through our triple threat from last week. We were looking for an actor or actress. So clue number 1, before I began my acting career, I briefly taught high school drama in my hometown. We were talking about Dee Wallace. She taught...
One of our favorites.
She taught at Washington High School in her native Kansas City in the early 70s. Clue number 2, I have a daughter who also acts, and we have worked together in projects. Dee's daughter, Gabrielle Stone, also is an actress, and they have worked together in such projects as the feature film Death House and short film Flowers in December. And clue number 3, while I have had over 200 roles, my most memorable ones had me playing a mother. Dee...
That's got to be the big clue there.
Yeah. Dee has played a mom in some of her most famous roles, such as E.T. and Cujo. Other examples are playing Laurie Strode's mom in Rob Zombie's Halloween and the matriarch in the holiday horror film Red Christmas. And when I got to meet Dee at the PopCon several years ago, she told me that Cujo was her favorite role. And I did get to tell her that she was my movie mom. So I thought that
if there's anyone to really go seek out at these cons, that's definitely Dee Wallace. She's one of the sweetest women you will ever meet. She's awesome.
Yeah, she had to coax me to her table by telling me she wouldn't bite me. Because we were scared.
Well, because she was a werewolf at one point.
We were scared to go up there because it was my first con I'd ever gone to, and the weird thing about this one, Brian, was this is the one that nobody showed up. Like literally. There may have been, the guest list was packed. I mean, there was Margot Kidder, Dee Wallace, Michael Biehn, Doug Jones, Ernie Hudson. I mean, these are big names. A bunch of the Walking Dead people from Ghost Hunters, like a lot of big celebrities, and there was like nobody bought tickets. There was no way that we were there, and like there was no lines to any celebrity. They were sitting there on their phones, bored to tears. So it was weird.
Oh my
like
God.
it's one thing to stand in a line, to go up and meet a celebrity. It's another thing when they're just sitting there, and like there's nobody there. It was just awkward. So we were standing there like trying to get up our nerve to go talk to Dee Wallace, and she was like, "Come over here, I don't bite," and she was like giving us big hugs and stuff. So she was a sweetheart. Love her. Okay.
Gotta love Dee Wallace.
All right, so this week's Triple Threat, we are looking for a director. All right, see if you can figure this one out. Yes. Clue number 1, out of my 6 director credits, all but one shared the same character. Clue number 2, you could say I definitely take a hands-on approach to filmmaking. And clue number 3, I actually have one official acting credit to my name. This one could be deceptively difficult, I think.
Right. Like I think it's definitely gettable, but I think that the clues are just tricky enough that you may need to be a little in the know to really get this one somewhat easily.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I guess we should do our Zamondo real quick, Brian.
Yes, let me find a good one that's not food related. So, although this would be a good one because based on what we just had,
I'm up for a food one.
This is the perfect one,
okay.
I think,
right.
Based on what the movie is, since we did Drag Me to Hell and it was Sam Raimi. So, and it's a food, kind of an eating one, Tim, too. So you'll be ready for this. It says, would you rather eat someone's tumor right after it has been extracted by surgery, or chew and swallow somebody's eyeballs?
Oh, I gotta go with the eyeballs.
Really?
I would eat their eyeball. I would. I can't eat a
God.
tumor.
I can't either, but you know me and my eye thing. But maybe as long as I don't see it come out and I don't know what it is. Like maybe if it's in like some marinara sauce, I just think it was a weird meatball.
That was easy. I mean, people eat cow eyes and stuff. There's precedent for eating eyes. I don't know if there's precedent for eating tumors. So I'm going with eyes all day long on that one. Yeah.
But tumors might look like like when you eat a mussel out of
no. No.
Like or a cockle,
no.
No,
we're going straight eyeball. Oh, God.
Okay. Well, here's one that this may sway your decision here. It says, it pays to know your tumors before deciding. For example, the largest tumor ever was an ovarian cyst weighing 328 pounds, taken from a woman in Texas in 1905. She made a full recovery.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Oh, and then here's something from our friend James Beard, not Adam Beard. It says, it was a quote. He said, I believe that if I ever had to practice cannibalism, I might manage if there were enough tarragon around.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So I guess he's a man who likes spices. So look at that. We even themed Zamondo to Drag Me to Hell at some level.
What can we say?
With the eyeball.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're on point in season 4.
All right, guys. So we'll see you back here next week. We got our movie already picked out. It's going to be a really good one. I just watched it actually recently, and I loved it.
Yes.
And
same here.
So don't deny any old gypsy woman's extensions on their home loans is all I can say. And Brian, I think I know what you got to say.
Yes, I'm going to say, make sure when you watch a movie, make sure you get a little bit of popcorn. Hey, popcorn.
Right.